Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the official start date of ETM 501. I want to extend my apologies for not recognizing that the class hadn't opened last week. Typically, our students have 1 week of preview week in order to get used to the course materials and things, and I didn't realize that there was a technical issue that kept it from opening until someone contacted me today saying that it wasn't available. So I refreshed everything, I got help from IT, and now we're open and live. Thank you so much for the person who got on early this morning and kind of pointed that out, that it wasn't available yet. So I really appreciate that. So we will kind of do a slow start for you since you didn't have the preview week. And I'm going to ask that you just have very open communication with me if you're having any issues with the course. So in all of the courses, the way I like to have these, I'm sorry, I'm at home and that's my dog playing with something, just so you know. The course guide is going to be one of your go-to items for figuring out kind of checklists of what is going to be happening throughout the entire course. It has a rundown of everything module 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's also a section for assignment examples because there's always that question about, can you have an example, or can you explain to me what that might look like? So I've picked 3 examples, 1 for each of the projects, 2 for the MySpace because there are different ways that you can do this project, just to kind of give you some ideas, so that as you're gauging your work against the rubric, you can also look at what another person had success with. The rubrics section has all of the rubrics for the course, so they're at a quick glance here, so that they're all in one space and you always know they're right there. You can also find the rubrics in the assignment tabs underneath each of the modules. So in each of our modules, we have the module objectives. That's where you would start, just to learn an overview of what we're going to be doing. There's the what to read and do section, which again is that checklist for what's coming up in this section. There's a course overview and expectations, and I always like to give you some strategies for going through the modules. And in this, I would believe to say number 4 is your best to look at, that there will be 9 total posts, 3 in each forum. That's your minimum. So making sure that you're able to accomplish that. Typically, these posts I expect to start Wednesday of the very first week of the module. Given you have not had a preview week, I would expect for these all to be started by the weekend, so that if you kind of slow start this weekend, by the weekend you would have at least 1 post in each of the forums going in. The module forums are connected through Module 1 Forum tab, and you'll be able to see all of them here. I have asked that you start by introducing yourself in the class cafe, and I see that some folks have today. Thank you so much. So go to the class cafe, introduce yourself. This will help me to do modifications to the work as we go to make it a little bit more applicable to what you need and what you're involved in school. So in that module 1, we have a section called Social Justice Resources. This is something you're going to be using throughout the entire course. So remember that module 1, it's always available to you. Social justice resources are on this first module page. In one of the posts, it's asking you to refer to the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is this YouTube visualized PowerPoint. So it is a PowerPoint that I have visualized and done some lecture through, so that that'll be your very first piece of information, a chunk of information that you'll get from me. So in this class, I like to call it the case of the isms, where everything is based on these barriers that are isms that people, students, parents, we as educators may face as we are making our way through different systems. We're going to get to know some of these isms, and this is very self-directed, so you get to choose what's interesting to you. Perhaps it's something that you didn't know about before that you want to learn about. So in each module, you're going to be asked to look at one particular ism, and it's going to be up to you. This is your self-guided piece to the course. We actually get to decide what is most important to my learning, what has affected me in my life, what do I see possibly affecting my students the most. As you look into this, you'll notice that there is a section for racism. It's short because our next course is completely devoted to race and ethnicism. It's race and ethnicity in American education. So we tried to give you a sampling of this, and then we'll delve into it a lot more in the next course. This is the very first assignment for you. Assignment 1 is going to be the personal narrative, and the personal narrative is your chance to synthesize and analyze and kind of just think about, sit back and reflect on your life and what has brought you to this point. And the purpose of the essay is just to kind of give you an idea of what isms have impacted you. What ways have your life been impacted by barriers? Maybe there haven't been barriers. So what has that done to help you in your life? So it's really a chance to kind of start to think about who you are in this journey. The very first thing that we need to do is really analyze ourselves to figure out how is our background and our history impacting our lens of the world and our interaction with the world. If there are things in these questions, I've just given you a bunch of questions and things to think about. If something doesn't pertain to you, don't respond to that. It's totally okay to ignore it. And there may be things that pertain to you that aren't in this list of questions. Talk about those things, okay? And as always, you can go back to the assignment examples and get a very good idea of what one of those possible personal narratives could be. So again, thank you so much for your patience and making sure the course was open. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry you missed preview week, but I'm going to be completely flexible with this group to make sure that you feel as successful as possible. I will be announcing some interactive time, some optional synchronous time to be able to get online to start to have conversations with each other. And I'm going to be combining you with another group for those conversations. So I'll put those up in the announcements, and if you can make it, fabulous. If not, I will always post a video of kind of the overview of what the discussion was about so that you can get a feel for it. But it's always a good place to just kind of get to know each other a little better and get to start to have conversations about social justice education and the isms and the barriers overall. I really look forward to working with you in this course. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. That's the best way to get in contact with me. My email is, of course, included in the Read Me First, along with my phone number. If you have any emergencies, I'm responsive that way also. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Welcome to the course.